for inviting me to give a talk today, and I'm really delighted to be among all you distinguished speakers. So, as you see, the topic of our discussion today is the happy genes. All of us have those genes, and we who will decide if we'll make them happy or we'll suffer throughout our life because of some, let's say, unwisdom decision mother took in the first early 3 months of pregnancy. So my name is Maryam Matar. Can you guess who is Fatma? My mother. This is my innovation. So my aim, I have my plan from 2000, the year 2000 when I graduated from the medical college. I was the first on my batch in the medical college, and I had my plan till 2050. And it was a dream, but alhamdulillah, with the blessing of Allah and great team with me, I'm able to achieve all my dreams, even 6 months, at least 6 months before the deadline. And one of my aim by 2032, that in all official documents, our mother names will be mentioned as well. Proudly saying, please, I would like also to bring to your attention, I would like to apologize that I mentioned Maryam Matar a lot. I'm not talking about myself, I'm representing Emirati women. So whenever I speak about Maryam Matar, please know that I'm pointing to an Emirati woman who were supported with a great support from our leaders, and being lucky, being the daughter of Fatima and Mohammed. I was honored to establish many non-profitable organizations in UAE, and one among those are UAE Genetic Diseases Association. Our president in that association is Sheikh and our vision and our mission in this organization is to strive to reduce the prevalence and the impact of common genetic disorder in the United Arab Emirates. And in this organization, we are focusing on all UAE community, not only Emirati. Whoever is aligned and have an official visa, residential visa in UAE, they are eligible to use all our services and be part of our research. And free of charge as well. We were honored enough to have His Highness Sheikh Mohammed coming and inaugurating our small research center in 2007. We have a scientific committee. In this scientific committee in our organization, I am not a member. So I make sure there is no bias in any decision that is taken regarding to research and scientific documentation. And we have a member from Ministry of Health, Dubai Health Authority, and Emirat University in Al-Ain, as well as from Yamaguchi University, my professor, Professor Hattori. I'm doing my 4th year and the final year in clinical genetics from Japan, and he's my supervisor as well. And we have as well from King Abdullah University in Saudi Arabia. So this committee has all the authority to approve or disapprove any project. They have all the authority to approve all the policy and procedure and the protocol for the research, apart from the financial support. How we do that? We do that all through awareness and genetic research and a proper field visit, awareness campaign and screening based on research study and knowledge sharing conducted by experts in the field using the most innovative technology at the lowest cost. For example, one of the tests which we perform in our organization, it costs 1,880 dirham in the private sector. In the government sector, it costs 1,120 dirham, while the real cost in our organization is only 97 dirham, and we sell it for the donor in 240 dirham. And additional to that, it is shared and licensed by the Dubai Health Authority and 2 international organizations. So I'll go to the topic now. When we talk about genetics, when the scientists discovered the whole, and they were able to map the whole genome, human genome, and it was a day when everybody thought that this is the day where all the secrets would be really clear, and we will understand and know how to protect ourselves against common disorders and diseases. But in reality, we knew that was only the beginning, where a new science came on. It's called epigenetics. whereas change in the pattern of gene expression that is mediated by a mechanism specifically not due to alteration in the primary nucleotide sequences. What do we mean by this? I do apologize for the poor quality of the picture because I got it from my textbook, whereas one of the reference in all what I'm sharing with you today. And this is a very new science where you will not find a good information or enough information on the web. If we can imagine, can anyone of you give me a number? How long is our gene? What's your good name? What's your good name? Kareem. Can anyone suggest how long is the DNA for Kareem? If you take all his chromosomes and link them together, how long it will be? Yes.
So 3 gigabytes?
3 gigabytes. In kilos. In kilos. Anybody can give me any number? Please quickly. 3,000 kilometers. More? If we got all the chromosomes in Kareem's cells and joined them together, it will be the length of 2,500 times going from the planet Earth to the moon. Can you imagine that? SubhanAllah. So that itself what makes this science a little bit not so easy, but not difficult. So when we say that we discover the gene located in that specific area, we have to understand how much we suffer to reach to that point and to find that fact and share it with all of you. So when we talk about the chromosome, so we get all the chromosome of Kareem and join them together. So there will be 2,500 times going from the planet Earth to the moon. Going and coming. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. Subhanallah. So if we will open this chromosome, it will be in that shape. You can see that this is the DNA. DNA is moved around and it will come to a small part of protein, it's called histone, where all this DNA will try to have 2 to 3 circles around it and then extend to another one. So when we talk about epigenetics, it is exactly the histone, this protein, where we have the switch on and off. Who's controlling who's controlling the light? Can somebody switch the light of the theater, please? Or this? Yeah, switch on, switch off. So histone is exactly that. If we get 2 human beings, for example, Kareem, and what's your good name? Lina? Dina. If we get Kareem and Dina, and we try to screen their DNA, they will have exactly the same DNA, the same match. Although Kareem, his eyes is lighted blue. Lighted blue? Hazel, sorry. And what about you? Greenish. So hazel and greenish. But when we screen their gene and we sequence them, they will be exactly the same. The only difference is that the part which is circulated around the histone, the switch on for the hazel, are you sure? Because they look green, Wallah. They change, excuse me. So what makes the difference with the colors of the eyes is only the switch on and off in this histone. So they have exactly the identical DNA for the eyes, where we will have all the colors of the iris are there on that gene, in this chromosome and in this DNA. But because that histone decided to switch off the black part where the machine will not be able to read the black part of the DNA, and decided to, if you'll allow me, Kareem, it's brown, light brown, okay? And the histone decided to switch on the brown, light brown point on that DNA itself. So if we can imagine this is the DNA, we have the color black, brown, all of them are here. But in Kareem's case, the DNA and the histone decided to switch on that part related to the light brown color of the iris. So when we talk about epigenetics, it's not the only factor which decide Kareem to have the brown light eyes or to be, how tall are you, Kareem? The exact number, please. please, not to be changed tomorrow, guys. Without shoes, Kareem. 5 foot? You guess? Yeah. Please, what's your good name? John. Yes, John. How tall are you? 5'9". 5'9". So, if we will see John. Yeah. Okay, so again have another example of John, where John decided in his phenotype to have the tall size of 5 feet, 5 feet 9 inches. In this phenotype, when he was born, his genotype and his DNA were already. We can see here, if we can imagine this part of DNA responsible of how tall John will be. So here, in this part of the DNA, we have all the sizes of all the human beings. So if he will be 3 meters or 5 feet or 6 feet, but what was changed and what was different in his case, that in this part of his stone, this stone decided that to switch on that point which is related to this height. So who decided that? It's not only John's mother and father and the tallness of his mother and father. No, again, there was something related to epigenetics. In epigenetics, here we have the environment, which will play a big role in that. This is called agouti mice. And agouti refer to the brown color in Chinese language. So agouti mice, and this is small brother of agouti mice. They are genetically identical, exactly the same gene. Everything is the same and the same parents as well. The only difference between this small, tiny, healthier looking mice and the agouti mice, that during the pregnancy, the mother during the pregnancy for this mice, the scientists, they made sure that she took enough amount of folic acid and all the vitamins which is required to maintain a good, healthy baby, mice. While in agouti mice, what they've done, they let the mother to eat whatever she wanted. And they made sure during that time they were labbed for all those essential vitamins. And she was fed with extra fat amount in her food. These 2 mice are growing. They noticed that this mice start to develop diabetes. Although this mice, when they screened his gene, the day he was born, he was quite normal. Exactly the same genes of this mice, exactly the same chromosome. So what they noticed during the whole life cycle of 3 years, that in agouti genes, what happened? During the first trimester, when the mother were fed with all that unhealthy food and lack of nutrition, especially folic acid and other type of food, which are very essential for maintaining a healthy bone and healthy structures, they found out that there was something related to epigenetics, where they found that the histone in some specific type, they were switched on and switched off. Apart from this healthy mice, when they scanned his gene, and they find out that all the histone were switched off, especially in those areas which were related to the function of pancreas and function of the fat cell and the function of the digestive in the small intestine. So here we have a very clear answer how the epigenetics is exactly, we cannot say that it's more important than genetics, but it plays a major role in changing the whole physiology of a human being. For example, we have another example here. You can see we have coca here, we have soya, we have grape, and we have green tea. When you go and gene map those elements and those different type of food in color and shape, you will find that they have the same DNA, exactly the same. There were no single change between the DNA of these different type of planet and food. The only change was in epigenetic, the histone part of it, where one part was switched on, and in another one, a part was switched off, with another protein coming on top and blocking some specific area and on this DNA. That itself answers very clearly that we are fully responsible of how our new generation will look like. We might not be able to see that in our generation of ourselves, but it will be very clear in the third and the fourth generation of us. This is a simple illustration for how it will look and what we mean by this part. This is the histone, where it will control which part to switch on and which part to switch off. When we come to United Arab Emirates, and I will not go in details about the fact of epigenetics. There is a very good information you will find in the in definitive some good site which I will share with you soon. But let me focus on what we find as a result in United Arab Emirates. From 2007 till May 2011, we were able to screen 11,281 Emiratis. You can see that there were a very good number from Dubai. 33% of the population were participated from Dubai. And here I'm talking only about Emirati figure. We have an Emirati figure as well. So what was the result? When we screened them, we first decided to screen them to find out what is the reality and what is the prevalence of the most common genetic disorder in UAE. And we emphasize on the blood disorders, which we believe are the most common disorder in our country. So we started screening them for thalassemia, beta and alpha thalassemia, and sickle cell disease, and G6PD. Imagine, among the 11,281, 478 of them were carrier of a beta thalassemia, and they were not aware about it. Imagine, totally not aware. And 220, they were carrying sickle cell disorders in their gene, and they were not aware about it. And when it's come to G6PD, glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase, where it's a defect in the cell membrane of RBCs, in case if they will digest any type of Chinese food, soya, it will break down. So there were 219 Emirati carrying this abnormal gene, and they were not aware about it. And imagine, among this 219, 200 of them were boys. This is an X-linked chromosomal disorder. So it will be very clear within the boys, while the female, they will be a carrier. In case of both parents are having the disease, they will be affected as well. So the whole research cost us only $4.5 million, imagine. And when we thought, let's find out those people who were diagnosed and told and given an awareness program how to protect themselves and to make sure not to be suffering throughout their life or to have another child with the same problem, how much we saved and what was the effect about for that. So we went back to the Dubai Health Authority. We asked those people in the Dubai Health Authority in the statistic department, can you tell us exactly how much is the cost for one patient per year in 2007 to be cured or treated through the emergency? Imagine, this was only through the emergency. 35,000 dirham and 850 dirham was the total cost of one patient. Then I took this number, I multiplied by all those cases were diagnosed and were educated about their disease. You can imagine how much we saved. This is per year, the saving we've done to our country. 32 million dirham saving was done because simply people were diagnosed and told how to protect themselves. So when it's come to epigenetic, what we've done and how changes were done through these through this volunteer and this research. So what we've done, we collectively screened the gene of all those positive cases only to find out, is there any changes, is there any difference between all these people? So what we found out that all those positive cases, they were exactly having the same gene with a minor deformity in some specific areas of genes. While when it's come to epigenetics, they were a big surprise. This is one of the projects was an outcome of the previous research where we were trying to focus mainly on epigenetics and environmental factor. These children simply born in a such defect form because their mother during the first trimester, she lacked taking the enough and adequate amount of folic acid. How to make sure this thing will not be happening again and we will have less baby born with such deformity, we initiated a new project called National Campaign for Prevention of Folic Acid Deficiency. And we have a very clear example from China. China, a total population of 1,200,000,000 population, they were able, within less than 10 years, to drop the number of newly born children with a neural tubal defect from 16 per 1,000 newly born to 3 per 1,000 newly born. Imagine if they were able to do it with 1,200,000,000 population, we should be able to do that within 1 day. With our only, we are less than 1 million people. So what they've done in China, they made sure all the women above age of 14, all the girls above the age of 14, they will have free of charge supplement of folic acid tablet. Folic acid is a water-soluble vitamin. If your body will not need it, it will be completely excreted through the urine. And no bread, no any type of wheat will be sold in China if it is not fortified with folic acid. So this miracle happened, and they dropped the number of those children from 16 per 1,000 to 3 per 1,000. You can imagine how much is important and how big is the role of the environment in our genes. Those children had a normal gene, but because of the lack of folic acid, the histone switched on, where there will be some deformity in the bone. And in another area, the histone switched off, where the machine were not able to read how proper the brain shape should be, and they had that defect in their brain. So what we've done, additional to that, we established a new supplement. It's called Manal, available in all the pharmacies. 2.5 from the sales goes back to this research, and it's available right now, and we are distributing it free for the college students. We will have very soon a discussion where we'll go through more information. We started small projects since 2007. And I try my best whenever I go to any conference to participate and give some talk. And recently I published my last paper in one of the peer-reviewed journals in US. It's a very distinguished journal about our work and the public awareness in the community. We were awarded and honored last year, imagine, to have 5 Nobel laureates, not 1, not 2, 5 Nobel laureates, showing interest to come and visit our small organization and to see what, to have some closer look to our result and finding. These are 1, 2, 3. Why I put this picture up here? Here are 1, 2, 3, 4. So Dr. Farid was missing. He went to the toilet. So I cannot say more how important is our work and what we are doing and what is our impact on the new generation of UAE, where we are aiming to drop the number of newly diagnosed cases of diabetes from 37 to 3% within the coming 10 years, inshallah. We were very successful to drop the number of newly born thalassemic. Back in 2004, every week there were 1 child born with thalassemia in my country, and now from January 2014, there is no single child born in thalassemia in Al Fujairah, and no single child born since March 2014 in Al Wasl Hospital. So that's what we are trying to do, and this is the way we are trying to help our community, simply through understanding our epigenetics and the role of the environment.